The screenwriters of Call Northside 777 took some liberties with the truth in retelling the story of Joseph Machek's wrongful conviction. The breakthrough in the case did not come from the enlargement of a photograph. That was a plot device in keeping with the studio's fascination for technological advancements. In 1948, it was preferable for a movie mystery to be resolved with forensic science than to admit the truth, that the key witness in the actual case was strong-armed into giving false evidence by the Chicago police. The reporters who undertook the investigation, James McGuire and John McFall, determined that the original trial judge, Charles Malthrop, had doubts about the convictions and told people he intended to reopen the case. But Malthrop died in 1935. And his confidants later said the judge had been warned that reopening the case would kill his prospects for political office. Less than a year after the Times reporters started digging into the case, Joseph Machek received a full pardon. The other convict, Ted Marcinkiewicz, remained behind bars another 5 years before he too was granted a full pardon. The role of Tilly Wychek marked the movie debut of Kasia Orzeszewski, who didn't make many movies, but found a niche as saintly immigrant mothers. She pretty much recreated the same character the following year in Thieves Highway, and again in 1952's Deadline USA, where she testifies how the daily paper taught her not only to read and write English, but how to become a good American. Jimmy Stewart was not an actor you found in too many noir films of this era. His aw-shucks honesty and forthright manner wasn't a good fit with the genre. It wasn't until he made a series of westerns in the 1950s with director Anthony Mann that Stewart went over to the dark side, playing characters driven not by decency and altruism, but by greed, jealousy, and vengeance. He wouldn't play a contemporary noir character until 1958, when he portrayed obsessive detective Scotty Ferguson in Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. In the 1950s and 60s, westerns would eventually become the specialty of director Henry Hathaway, who, like Anthony Mann, had made more than his share of noir before relocating to the frontier. During his late 40s tenure at 20th Century Fox, he was the studio's go-to guy for semi-documentary crime films. The House on 92nd Street, The Dark Corner, Kiss of Death, Call Northside 777, 14 Hours, and the shot-on-location noir thriller Niagara, which shed the semi-documentary tag by being photographed in lustrous Technicolor. The whole semi-documentary trend in movies died out in the early 50s as Hollywood turned to widescreen and Technicolor, and on-location shooting started to become the norm, not the exception. Join me next week here at Bar 355 for a real treat, particularly if you're a fan of flashbacks. Lorraine Day, Brian Ahern, and Robert Mitchum star in The Locket, a stylish and complex psychological mystery made at RKO in 1946. It's an encore screening in honor of its writer, Norma Barsman, who passed away late last year at 103 years of age. The Locket was her first produced screenplay. Until then, see you in the shadows.